Good Tuesday morning. This text today is from the second chapter of Wisdom. You've heard a lot because this is used in our funeral rite, okay? And you'll see it when I read it to you. I'll read it to you in a minute. But this is so important because wisdom has to deal with, if you're seeking to understand what is true, good, and beautiful, you have to be able to look at death. You have to be able to look at evil and death, especially death, because it wipes out everything. So it has to be more, okay? There has to be more. You can't have a wisdom that avoids the question, the absolute fact of death, personal and systemic. See, watch what he says. God formed man to be imperishable. The image of his own nature, he made them. But by the envy of the devil, death entered the world, and they who are in his possession experience it. Death. See? That's your book of Genesis, okay? And it shapes the entire consciousness we have, okay? Death came from sin, okay? The sin of Adam. But here's the famous text. You've heard this before. You've heard it, certainly. But the souls of the just are in the hand of God, and no torment shall touch them. They seemed in the view of the foolish to be dead, and their passing away was thought an affliction, and their going forth from us utter destruction. But they are in peace. For if before men indeed they be punished, yet is their hope full of immortality. Chastised a little, they shall be greatly blessed, because God tried them and found them worthy of himself. As gold in the furnace he proved them, and as a sacrificial offering he took them to himself. In the time of their visitation they shall shine, and shall dart about as sparks through stubble. They shall judge nations and rule over peoples, and the Lord shall be their king forever. Those who trust in him shall understand truth, and the faithful shall abide with him in love, because grace and mercy are with his holy ones, and his care is with his elect. That's a beautiful text. That's why we use it. We use it in the gospel. BC. Even Plato saw that, whatever it may be worth, in both the Apology, but especially the Phaedo. That's a famous dialogue of his. He speaks about the immortality of the soul, that the soul freed would be able to contemplate the true and the beautiful perfectly. Now in the shadow, then in reality. You can almost see the Book of Wisdom is picking that theme, that Platonic theme up. See? They seemed in the view of the foolish to be dead. Their passing away was thought an affliction, and their going forth from us out of destruction. But that's not true. They are in peace. For if before men indeed they be punished, yet their hope is full of immortality. Boy, I have to say in my old age now, in my 80s, I certainly see it that way. I see it more and more in those terms. Somebody asked me when I thought about, when you think about heaven, what do you think or look forward to? And I said to be with my family, the people who I have loved and been loved by. And I have to say, I not in some abstract way, but in a very real way, I talk to them all the time. I don't hear them saying anything back to me, unless you think I'm deluding myself, but I talk to them. When I go down the steps, there's a picture of Don Brennan. He was the dean at SLU, and he hired me. He was the dean of grad studies when I was there, when I first came. And I took him out fishing not too long before he died, actually died of cancer. And they started, he got the nickname Uncle Donald, okay? He was a great guy. When I go down the steps and I see his picture holding a bass, as he sits in my boat, I said, Uncle Don, now you look out for me today. And the other day when I was driving not long ago, a week or so ago, when I was driving up to Wisconsin to visit my friends, I said to Junie, keep me safe on the road. See? Keep me safe on the road. That's the truth. Yeah. I use often, the grandchildren called her Mimi. And I Russianized it, and I called her Moshki. I said, Mosh, keep me safe. Keep me safe. Mom and Dad, keep me safe. Uncle Donald, keep me out of trouble. Junie, don't let me screw this thing up today, okay? I talk to them because they're my saints. I have total belief in their presence in my life. Though they're dead in one regard, they're not dead in another. They are very real to me. Very, very real to me. They're my saints. I don't care about the famous saints. What do I care about them? What do they care about me? But I know my mother and father care about me. My uncles and aunts care about me. Junie cares about me. See? People who love you care. See? They're going to care now in a perfect manner, in a way that is unfettered by ignorance. And now they'll be free to love in wisdom those whom they love. And so when I ask, as I do, when I ask Junie or my mom and dad to look out for me, and Uncle Donald, don't let me screw this class up. You know what I mean? I'm doing things like that because I mean it. When I said to Junie when I was driving, Mimi, I'm going up to see my friends. Help me to drive wisely and go well. No mistakes. See that? I meant that prayer. They are living, they are alive to me, but in a different mode of existence, but still present to me personally. I really believe. I believe in the life of the saints. The difference is I'm not needing anybody to canonize them. I just need them to be loved and be loving. How can I ever doubt the love of my parents? They're dead now 36 and 31 years, my dad and mom. They're present to me all the time. So not only their example, their pictures and all, my memory, and they're present to me. Not talking, Mom, don't let me foul this thing up. Pop, don't let me mess this thing up. Junie, don't let me screw this thing up. Uncle Donald, let me get through this day in class. Stuff like that. Uncle Donald, I picked that thing up from his staff. They called him Uncle Donald. And I do. I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. He was part of the team that hired me 34 years ago. Isn't that neat? Saying, I remember, I told you this, I know I'm beating this thing to death, but when my Aunt Janet said to me when I was visiting her in Italy and I left, I was leaving. And she said, Ci vediamo in paradiso. We will see each other again in paradise. Isn't that, what a beautiful statement. We will see each other again in paradise. See, if that isn't the faith, there is no faith. You see, it's not just the church in paradise. There is in Christ. It's all of us. All those who have been redeemed by Christ, whether directly or indirectly. Ci vediamo. We will see each other in paradiso. In paradise. Ci vediamo in paradiso. We will see each other again in paradise. And I want to see Argena in paradise and Alessandro, her husband, my father's brother. See? I want to be with them again. I want to be with June again, and Bill, and the gang at St. Mark's, St. Tim's, the gang really at St. Tim's. We're all dead. The guys that I was the closest to, hardly one of them is left of that age group. Their children are, but these are people my age or just slightly older that we were friends together in a very active way. We socialized together all over. They were my companions, you see. And they're all dead now. I don't know a single one that's still alive. Maybe, one or two are still alive. Norm Urani and a couple of others, but by very few. But I think I want to be again with them. That to me is paradise. Just what the text is saying. See? We're all chastised a little. We've all sinned. We've all made our mistakes. We've all suffered in some manner or other. But in the end, it's the gold in the fire. And when we see each other, we won't be innocent, but redeemed. And our love will be purified by the fire of it, and by the course of life and death, purified and in grace. We will see each other in the perfection of God's love for us and our own perfection together. Not as strangers together, not artificially together, but in the intimacy of love itself. Ci vediamo in paradiso. We will see each other again in paradise. What a marvelous line of intimacy, love, and faith.